This is not who I think is going to be the top five in terms of, like I said, when I specifically did offense and defense, those were those separate units. This is overall teams. So this one is more, it is personnel plus where I think they're going to finish. So this is not necessarily, I wanted it to be 50-50. It's like the teams that I think have the best players definitely push their way up this list. But also, as you'll see here, division is a huge thing to me because that is 6 of your 16 games. And if your division is hot trash, you're going to look better. You're going to do better. It's like I talked about the Raiders when I was talking about offense. They have a chance. They're probably the best offense in the league, but because they've got to play 3 of the better defenses 6 times a year, that's going to bring their overall down. Whereas a team like, that's why the NFC South the NFC South the last couple of years has had really great offenses because their defenses, besides 1 year of Carolina, has been so suspect and trash. So let's get into it. Top 5 teams. I'm going to need one of these days, I'm going to need music for this. So, number 5, Pittsburgh Steelers. Why do I have Pittsburgh? Once again, is when I talked about on offense, they have the best set of offensive personnel in the game. They have the best trio between Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. They've also got one of the biggest advantages, which is the AFC North is literally just okay. The Bengals are declining. The Ravens are the epitome of average, and the Browns are the Browns. Do you really have to say much more about that? Although I do think the Browns will be better, the Browns are still the Browns. You've got a young defense that should be able to, with a weaker schedule, get some confidence going into the playoffs. I think Pittsburgh ends up winning that division around 11, 12, or 10 or 11 games. So honestly, I think you'd win that division with 9 games. Number 4, the Seattle Seahawks. There's going to be people are going to get disappointed for the NFC team that I leave off this list, but the Seahawks are literally playing in what's the worst division. They have the 49ers, 2-4 wins, the Rams. I'm not a believer in Jared Goff. They'll be 2-4 wins. And the Cardinals, which are wheelchair Carson Palmer, an almost 40-year-old Larry Fitzgerald, and remnants of a defense that was great 3 years ago. So you have a chance for the rest of your division to only win 12 games, and the Seahawks might win 12 games. I think it is their last great year of defense. I think after this, you're going to start to see the decline. You can already see the decline in some of the guys simply because the Seahawks are the epitome of overachievers. They've got a whole bunch of low-round draft picks, and there's a reason why they were low-round draft picks because they're as great as their work ethic is, their talent level does not match what other guys are. It's why, as great as Richard Sherman is, he will never be what Patrick Peterson is because Patrick Peterson's 6'1", 200-some pounds and runs like a 4.3 40. Richard Sherman, while he is tall, is not that fast, not that athletic, can't jump that high as Patrick. So just the Seahawks, this is their last great year. I'm not as big on Russell Wilson as everybody else is, but I do believe he's more than dependable in that division. He's by far the best quarterback in that division, which helps. They have by far the best head coach in that division, which helps. Number 3 is the Oakland Raiders, as much as I hate to say this one. Derek Carr is the next one. Derek Carr, to me, is the more clear, even more so than Andrew Luck, even more than Mariota. He is the next great quarterback that we're going to have in this league for the next 10 to 15 years. He's magical. They had all those come-from-behind wins. He's got great composure. And you see how important he was to that team because when he wasn't in the playoff game, they completely imploded. Khalil Mack does just enough on defense. That defense is so and suspect in a lot of areas, but Khalil Mack is that great in terms of being a pass rusher and even starting to play a little bit in coverage. I think if Von Miller's 1A in terms of outside linebackers, Khalil Mack is 1B, and it's really close. He has a chance. He was the defensive player of the year last year. Has a chance to be the defensive player of the year again this year, simply because he's playing with probably the least amount of talent out of all the big-time defensive players. And that offensive line and the weapons, Crabtree, Amari Cooper, Jared Cook, all the firepower that they have has a chance to be record-breaking potential. You see it every year where some team, like, it just clicks for them. It was that way for the Falcons last year, and the Raiders have every chance to do that this year. Like I said, they would probably I think their offense numbers will suffer a little bit simply due to the division they play in, but the fact is they are still that good of a team, and they're the best team in the best division. The AFC West is the best division in football, and the Raiders are the best team in that division, which I think counts for a lot. Number 2, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Once again, a lot of the same points that I reiterated when I did my offense. It's that offensive line, the best in football, can almost win games by themselves because they are that physically dominant. Dak Prescott, I think, is not just taking a step forward. I think he is taking MVP level step forward. I think you're going to see around 30 to 35 touchdowns. I think you're going to see 5 or 6 touchdowns on the ground. You're going to see a high completion percentage, low turnovers. I'm a big believer. I am all in on Dak Prescott. He's got more weapons this year. I also think that division is overrated. I think the Redskins, Giants, and Eagles are the epitome of inconsistency. The Giants, Eli Manning, basically one out every 3 years, he's going to lead the league in interception, so it's time for that again. The Eagles, I am not as big of a believer on Carson Wentz, despite what probably the general perception is. I think he takes a step forward, but he's not there yet. I think that offensive line, which has never been together, while it's 5 really talented guys, having consistency issues. And the Redskins, I'm sorry, I just don't believe in Kirk Cousins. I don't care how much he shouts in the hallway. Number 1, and it's at this point, it's just kind of facts as much as you might not like it, and it's the boring answer. But the Patriots are number 1, coming off a Super Bowl win. The division's hot trash. They're going to go 6-0 in that division. Tom Brady and Belichick, best quarterback-coach combination that you got in the league. He's got more weapons. He's shown, whereas I think their offensive numbers will suffer a little bit or not be as great as everyone thinks they will be because Gronkowski hasn't shown he can be healthy. And they are incorporating guys who into an offense that has seen other veterans and other star players struggle when they get there. But the fact is, you can hate them, you can love them. They rack up 12, 13 wins every year. They're just the team everybody loves to hate. Like, I hate having the Patriots number 1, but you just kind of have to concede to them because I don't think they're 16-0 great, but it's really hard to convince myself as I was looking through their schedule and opponents that they'll probably get 13, 14 wins, be the number 1 seed, be in the AFC Championship game again. There was a really great stat that was floating around on Twitter last week, and it was Tom Brady's made the Super Bowl in 44% of the seasons that he's played in the NFL. And Russell Westbrook, who is the NBA MVP, only makes 43% of his shots, which means Tom Brady literally goes to the Super Bowl more than Russell Westbrook makes a shot. That is, like, it's a funny stat, and, like, it doesn't hold, like, no one should be, like, up in arms about it, but, oh my gosh, that says a lot. The teams that I didn't include on my top 5 that people are going to, the big one that I know people are probably going to complain about is the Packers. For the Packers, the reason why I don't have them in my top 5 is the division they play in, which like I said, holds a lot of weight for me. It's the Vikings, I think, have the best roster in that division, just not the best quarterback. And I think the Lions have a very good roster. And Matt Stafford, people need to realize Matt Stafford is special. He is elite, even if he plays in Detroit, and it's just really hard to do anything in that town. And I think the Packers will have a lot of similar issues that they had last year, which is as great as a player Aaron Rodgers is. He might be the best thrower of the football we've ever seen, but every single year it just feels like they underachieve. Aaron Rodgers puts up some numbers, they make a late season run and get into the playoffs and either win one game or lose or just get knocked out in the first round. So I don't have them in my top 5 for that very reason. So once again, Steelers at 5, Seahawks at 4, Raiders at 3, Cowboys at 2, and everyone loves to hate the Patriots at 1. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Also, don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. If you'd like to see more videos, click right here on my chest. And I will see you guys next time.